Now, I'll be honest. I didn't get all up in arms about Morning Joe because I did not watch Morning Joe. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Now, we have all seen the 180 on Morning Joe.
Nobody gets a pass on inciting an insurrection. Nobody gets a pass on saying he fancies and wants to have generals like his. Nobody gets a pass on insulting veterans and saying those who died for our country are suckers and losers, right, except for convicted felon Donald Trump.
Yes.
This is called normalization.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the descent into fascism, if we so choose.
But similar to the conversation that was had after we had our meeting with Trump. And a lot of people said, you said all these things about him, and then you went to meet with him. Yes, and yes. Two things can be true at the same time, and you still can be very concerned about the things that you have actually voiced. And I think that you should never stop trying for civility and progress. And I think there needs to be some sort of reset to figure this out.
I ain't seen a 180 on that since MAGA decided they like women's basketball.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
On that bandwagon were folks that weren't fans of basketball, that weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark. They were fans of what they thought Caitlin could represent, which was the humbling of black women.
Or was it when they found out who Caitlin Clark was as a person?
I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important.
Now it's a whole 360. You back where you started. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't get all up in arms about Morning Joe because I did not watch Morning Joe. So for me to be outraged would kind of be like me joining the chorus denouncing the Lost finale. It's really just for comedy and content.
See, fun is fun. Jokes is jokes.
But that doesn't mean I didn't notice it was so bad. They were out here apologizing to Fox News and Pete Hegseth.
Well, just given what one sees on camera, if you're too drunk for Fox News, you're very, very drunk indeed.
Before we go to break, a little bit earlier in this block, there was a comment made about Fox News in our coverage about Pete Hegseth and the growing number of allegations about his behavior over the years and possible addiction to alcohol or issues with alcohol. The comment was a little too flippant for this moment that we're in. We just want to make that comment as well. We want to make that clear. We have differences in coverage with Fox News, and that's a good debate that we should have often. But right now, I just want to say there's a lot of good people that work at Fox News who care about Pete Hegseth, and we'll want to leave it at that.
Yes, this Fox News.
Well, he's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that.
Let me just tell you, from being in TV news all my life, local, cable, network, anybody at this table, I know the producers in the booth, if a clip runs and it's wrong, everybody knows it right away. It's like not the clip you're expecting. You know what you're expecting, and Bret Baier is really intelligent. I mean, they've got the best producers there, highest rated shows. They knew it was the wrong clip. And if they had even said something in the broadcast that they did 20 minutes later after the interview, that would have been reasonable. They waited a full day to tuck in to the end of Brett's show. Oh, by the way, I did make a mistake. I did not see the clip I was expecting. Here's the clip I was expecting. Okay, moving on. And no one on the network has talked about the clip at all. All they've done is talk about how Kamala Harris is nasty. But they haven't talked about how she actually called out Fox News on Fox News for what they do, which is sometimes disinformation, depending on the show. But at other times, it's subtle like this. Misleading the American public, moving things, avoiding the actual point of a story, or just not covering it. And in this case, it was all revealed in one moment by the candidate who was in the hot seat during a contentious interview, and yet she noticed the clip was wrong. He didn't. I am absolutely certain he knew it was the wrong clip, and he should have said it right away.
Apologizing to Fox News would be like Cowboys fans apologizing to Jerry Jones for not being good enough.
How does that feel?
It's nothing but a blessing. Can't complain, can't put words to it. I just got to credit my team and God.
Like Mark Zuckerberg attacking the Biden administration for threatening Meta. Oh, we gonna get there. Like me apologizing for not shoveling my driveway. Have you seen the way my alley looks? And I can tell you, I noticed it, but so did the timeline.
MSNBC's Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski responded to all the backlash over their trip down to see you-know-who at Mar-a-Lago. Take a look.
You will be smarter, and you have been over the last several weeks, because of what we talked about with Donald Trump for an hour and a half. We got information on where they're going, and I do report that, just like great reporters at the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, just like they do it.
On The View, they called, well, look, these two, Mika and Brzezinski, the two of them, they called Trump a threat to democracy. And now they go down there and visit him in Mar-a-Lago. What are they up to, do you think, Brent?
Okay, well, let's look at the numbers first. First, this is the collapse of MSNBC. Since October, their ratings are down 53%.
They even got dragged on MSNBC's own air.
No, that's absolutely wrong. You can't do that. Forgive me for saying this. You can't go to Mar-a-Lago. You can't do it. It's going to get me in trouble. What is really unsettling about it is coming off of the election, those who have tried to act responsibly feel the pain of the loss. We didn't wake up after the election and think, oh, I'm upset because I was wrong. We're upset because we know we're right, but we're on the losing side of this battle. And so what does that mean for a responsible media, for a responsible electorate, for a responsible Democratic Party in this environment? The only answer is to double down in holding Donald Trump and his allies accountable, and double down on trying to present a democracy that represents all people, even in a losing environment.
What does that mean, to double down?
It means to keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand the autopsy report that you go through when you're losing, but let's not overreact to this. Again, you didn't come out of the election upset because you knew you were wrong. You knew you were right, but you lost. So don't change the fundamental values. Don't just say we're going to give equity to Donald Trump, which some people are doing. In the Democratic Party, in media, among the electorate, they're saying, I just give up. We're going to give him equity. We're going to give him parity to traditional American values. No, that's absolutely wrong. You can't do that. Forgive me for saying this. You can't go to Mar-a-Lago. You can't do it. It's going to get me in trouble. You can't do that. You have to hold Donald Trump accountable for being wrong. You have to hold all of his allies accountable for being wrong. Even if that means you're in a losing environment and you're threatening your own liberty and your own, security as an American. You either believe that Donald Trump and Trumpism is wrong and is a threat to American democracy, or you don't. That's the environment. It's hard.
But if anybody was going to not hold his tongue right there on the set of Morning Joe, it would be former RNC chair Michael Steele. We've already seen him go off on Jeff Bezos.
This act of cowardice to me is just reprehensible, because all the bravado and all the BS that you put out there, you know, democracy dies in darkness. Well, baby, you just turned out the lights, Bezos. You just turned out the lights for the Washington Post, because you were so afraid that, you know, oh my God, Donald Trump is going to drag us. Donald Trump is going to come after my business. Here's the deal. If you can't handle it, sell the paper. Because why did you own it in the first place if this is what you're going to do with it? Same with the LA Times. If you can't take that heat, then get out of that business, because it's not a business for you. You cannot bring that mindset. You don't have a journalistic mindset. You don't understand what the First Amendment means to the men and women who actually do that job every day. There's a reason why your newsroom right now is pissed off at you, dumb behind, because you're buckled. You put it on your masthead and then you took it down because you're afraid of Donald Trump? I don't get what the hell everybody's afraid of this guy for.
Lindsey Graham could get it?
It goes to helping this president and taking back the Senate.
Hold it, you just showed televangelist Lindsey, you know, hawking for Donald Trump. Don't give it to me. Just you know, just pray. Just send us some money and pray, and send us more money and pray. It is so ridiculous, so embarrassing. So embarrassing that this is what the leadership of the Republican Party has become. Some two-bit televangelists hawking for Donald Trump. I mean, and not even good. Not even good hawking.
No, connected with reality.
They're not even good. We need to have that GoFundMe page for bad acting Republicans, and we get Sarah McLachlan sing an angel, and then we'll just show pictures of them in slow motion and say, you can donate now and you can save these Republicans.
Oh, he is nothing if not unafraid. Although I will take issue with this one though. Don't tempt me with a good time, Michael Steele.
Can I just point out something to you, folks? My wife pointed out to me the other day. She said, I just want a day when I can get up and not have to think about, talk about, react to, or see Donald Trump on my news, in my papers, in my media. Folks, we have been inundated and consumed by this one man for 8 years. You don't talk about anyone in your family that much. You don't talk about your friends that much. Ask yourselves, when you have a conversation, how many times does someone raise his name or you bring it up? That's the problem we have in this country right now. We need to cleanse ourselves of this. This election is the way you do it, in my view. He's telling us.
I agree. You're right. That is the only way.
That, you know, what his world is going to look like. You either want more of that or you don't.
But let's be honest. We all know that ain't happening. Not even when the rules say it's supposed to.
What makes you think that if Donald Trump gets his way, that he's suddenly going to play ball with everybody, that he's suddenly going to behave, that he's not going to engage in any further insurrection? If, by God help us, he gets elected in November, what happens in 2029? Right? When he's not eligible to run again and decides, you know, I kind of like the White House. The Lincoln bedroom, not so bad. I think I'll stay. So there's always this element about him that says he's going to disrupt and destroy. Disrupt and destroy. That's the game. And so this piecemeal, with the American people have to make a choice. They made a choice in 2020. They unelected him. They threw him out of office. He didn't like the result and fomented insurrection to regain that office. The 14th Amendment applies here. What Colorado is doing here is correct, I think, constitutionally and under the principle, because we've seen the action. It's not something that he may do. It's something he's already done.
But despite seeing the destruction that he has already left in his wake, Joe and Mika decided to bring on Michael Steele. Oh, this should be good.
Michael, I know this may sound radical for some people out there, but actually, if you sit there and you talk to somebody,
it's a different thing.
And you're civil to somebody. No, it's all part of the same thing. When he wants to speak out, does he have a better chance to pick up the phone and call on a personal level and say, I've got a real problem with this. Let me tell you what you're about to do. Let me tell you why this is going to blow up in your face, and the blowback's not going to be worth it because I know I sat there.
Okay, so if you're following, Joe Scarborough coming out of getting savaged by Morning Joe fans, and I would say Morning Joe viewers, because we've seen what the viewership's been looking like. Fresh off being savage for going to visit with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, wants to use Obama apparently not swinging on him and acting a whole fool at a state funeral for a former president. He's trying to use Obama being cool, sitting next to Donald Trump, to save himself. That wasn't remotely slick. You know who you also could have used? Karen Pence. How about that? Huh? How about that?
Al Gore, Mike Pence there with former President Trump. I'm not sure former Vice President Pence and Donald Trump have seen each other.
That works if Joe Biden is calling George Bush, or George Bush is calling Barack Obama. Right. You know, the moment that whole thing yesterday was illustrative of how that group of former presidents look at one of their own. Yes. Okay, that to me is the thing about yesterday, how they look at him. And so I agree with you, Joe. The whole civil thing works, but you know, civility is a two-way street.
And that's a hell of a point. You want to point to Obama? How about you point to Clinton? Or how about this? Even W. Huh? Huh? How about that, Joe?
Michael, I'm not saying we're walking in a winter wonderland.
Joe, you had your moment. Let me just finish the point.
I know, but
I get
tell
that.
Tell us something we don't know.
Well, I'm telling you something that you seem to forget.
Speak on it. Speak on it. I don't know what you're talking. Tell me something I don't know. Oh, okay. So when was this civil turn from Trump before you went out to Mar-a-Lago? Because apparently what you're saying is that you are well aware that civility is a two-way street, which is the thing that Michael Steele was saying. But I must have missed it. I must have been asleep. That must have been Rip Van Winkle. I must have missed 20 years of Trump's civil turn before you went out to Mar-a-Lago. We all missed that. That's great. Where did our time go?
And so let me make my point. You may not like it, but I'm going to make it. And the reality of it is, I take your civility argument, and you like to say 78 million people voted for Donald Trump. Well, 82 million people voted for Joe Biden. Right. And he didn't get that civility that you're talking about from Donald Trump.
Sure as hell didn't. You know who else didn't get that civility? Most of the 80 plus million people who voted for Joe Biden either. Which would also include you, the host of Morning Joe. So not only have we not gotten that civility, you haven't gotten that civility either. But that didn't stop you from running down to Mar-a-Lago, did it? While you turn around and tell me that you're aware that civility is a two-way street. Now I get why the numbers look the way they do. It's all making sense.
So now the expectation is, because he's won again and he got 78 million people, we all got to be civil to Donald Trump. Well, okay, I'm prepared to be civil.
Nobody said that.
You did.
No, I didn't say it.
I
didn't say everybody has to be civil.
The reality of it is, you're using the term civil. I've never used that term. I'm using your term. You put civility on the table.
And you said we all have to be civil. There is a pushback that you have to have.
But Joe.
I'm just talking about Barack Obama.
I'm not talking about that. My main point is everybody's looking at this from a one-way perspective, how we need to approach Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. How the hell is he approaching us?
Oh, we know. We've seen it for a decade, and that approach has not changed except for maybe the couple months before election time, where he decides that he is a friend to insert group here, which that's not transparent at all. What's that, Black MAGA? just in time for election, all of a sudden he has plans for black. Oh wait, no, that was last time. He didn't roll nothing out this time, did he? He left y'all all the way thirsty.
The man wants to lock up citizens. The man wants to turn the government against him. How are we to respond to that? Are we supposed to be civil?
I know they call me a DEI and tell me that I'm not worthy to participate in American society in any capacity, but I would like to make peace. Yeah, they held those mass deportation signs, but I would still like to find a way to make peace, till they come get us. Oh, I know I lost my bodily autonomy, but I would like to make peace with the part of me that I still have control over.
Michael, do you think we don't know that?
Doesn't seem like it.
Michael, why do you...
Not you. I'm just saying the
Michael,
broader you.
Why do you feel the need to create false choices?
I'm not creating a false choice. I'm using your words.
You have created...
I'm using you. You put civility on the table.
My words. You took me saying that it's not the end of the world, that Barack Obama smiled and talked to Donald Trump, and you're turning that into that we have no idea what's before.
Now, okay. Oh, so Joe wants to accuse Michael of making the connection between Barack Obama and people being civil to Trump, as if he wasn't the one that has done this turn. And what was that you said, Joe, about in your explanation to why you went down to Mar-a-Lago?
You can do two things at the same time. You can say he had fascist rhetoric and still go in and talk to him.
Yeah.
You know why I do that? To get the read of the man. You know why I went in and talked to Macron? To get the read of the man at a crucial time in EU funding and NATO funding. You know why I went to leaders in the Middle East who were angry at the United States, and I sat there and I listened to them attacking me personally for 45 minutes because of U.S. policy? You know why I do that? To get the read of the leader, to get the read of where the country's going. So I can come back here and talk to you and let you know what the hell is going on.
With context and
give you context, insight, and background. You know everybody we have on the show that's a reporter? It's what they do every day. They speak on background.
Okay, so that's what you said about why you went to Mar-a-Lago, and now you're echoing the same thoughts for Barack Obama, but it's Michael Steele is the one that made the connection? Okay. I would think anybody with an operable brain would have made that, but I understand why you wouldn't have been there with it. Okay.
You will play very well today on Blue Sky and Threads and X. Congratulations.
And you know what? He did.
I'm not playing to anybody. I don't have an audience here. I'm just saying. I don't have a particular. I'm talking to the American people just like you are. I'm using the words you use.
No, you're twisting.
And so I'm not twisting your words. So let me untwist them.
Okay, good.
Civility is a two-way street, as I said at the very beginning, and then you attacked that.
No, I didn't attack that.
You did.
Yes, Michael.
You did. So you did. No.
You need to go back and look at the tape.
We can look at the tape. But the reality of it is, my general point, Joe, is that civility is a two-way street. If you want to throw civility on the table, I'm with you. I'm all down with that. I think absolutely what we witnessed yesterday with 5 living presidents sitting there at the funeral of a former president is a seminal American moment. Mm-hmm. All right, and it's an important one. And yeah, the politics and the sort of funny moments that occur, those are great. But next week, we start a new regime. We start a new direction. And everybody wants us to behave a certain way in this new era. And I'm more than willing to do that.
Way?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
What
if it's civility, if it's accommodation to Donald Trump, as we see corporate America doing, if it's bending the knee, whatever it is. But my point is,
does anybody here think that we should accommodate Donald Trump?
Apparently, at least 2 of y'all do. Apparently, at least 2 of y'all do. And I love the way that Michael Steele landed that, because this whole thing, why is it always incumbent upon the left or the middle to accommodate the extremists. Why? Why is that? Now, let me ask you this. If the election would have gone a different way, right? If Kamala Harris would have won the election and they would have had to deal with the fallout over on the right side of things, would you be saying that we need to accommodate them? You probably would, actually. You probably would. So really, at any point in time, it is incumbent upon those with sense to accommodate those extremists in our midst, despite how wrongheaded their behavior might possibly be. Now, that's interesting because that was not the approach that was taken when they had a little civil war. Yeah, that was not the approach. It was what was the accommodations that were made when MAGA got mad about the H-1B? They did not accommodate them, did they? No, they did. No, they did not. No, they did not. But I'm supposed to, though. I'm supposed to accommodate them. It was only a matter of time before this went down live on the air, and I will continue to watch the various machinations of Morning Joe and how they continue to deal with Trump now that apparently, according to Joe, there is no mandate to be civil. Yeah, I'm sure that's how you left Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And I will continue to watch the various machinations of Morning Joe and how they cover Trump because apparently there wasn't a mandate to be civil. Yeah, I'm sure that's what you conveyed when you went down to Mar-a-Lago. You was dancing worse than Elon Musk out there. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel as we approach a new administration and the changing winds of our media landscape. I want to invite you to join my channel. I think it's very important to preserve a space and a platform where I can communicate clearly and honestly, as all of our creators are hoping to maintain. Unfortunately, it looks like that ground may be evaporating right underneath our feet. So I wanted to let you know I'm going to continue to post on my channel, but I'll also be posting more in the membership section as well, so we can have clear and honest conversations. You can find the button to join right there on my page. There's also a link in the description box to all of my videos. I also want to invite you to join my mindfulness and meditation channel. That's my second channel. It is Way of Waters, because we gonna need it. We gonna need it. I might wear that thing out by the midterms.